right? Okay, never mind. It's okay. Simple things. Okay, 1,
It's
2, 3,
recording.
4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, brilliant. All right, let's get started. Okay, do you all have the book with you?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go straight into it. I'm going to read you the first line, okay? And as I'm reading the first line, I want you to tell me what is the tone of this opening line. Okay, what is the tone? What is the author or authoress, the Jane Austen? What is her tone when she wrote this first line? This is the direct quote. Okay, first line. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a great fortune must be in want of a wife. What's the tone of this line, do you think?
I feel like she's being sarcastic, probably.
Yeah.
Sarcastic, Ranjini, sarcastic. Anybody else?
Yeah, like ironic or humorous.
There's a kind of a tongue-in-cheek humor, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Can it be like mocking?
Mocking. Okay.
Stereotype?
She seems to mock. Okay, now Ali has just left.
She's against this idea.
Right. You get an impression as if she's not terribly supportive of this idea, and the way she presents the statement gives you the indication. Is there a particular word in that line that kind of triggers that for you? Because it's a simple statement, right? It's not got any particular imageries that hints humor or irony, right? But
Yes.
what is it about that line that kind of triggers? Maybe she's being ironic. Maybe she's being cheeky. Maybe she's being tongue-in-cheek. Oh, is there anything there?
I think it's the phrase universally acknowledged.
Right. Anything else?
The last sentence must be in one.
Must be in one. So it's very declarative. There's a kind of like assertiveness. You know, the word truth. Truth. When you think of the word truth, it's like there's no disputing it. So what are your truths? Let's say if I start with Shahira, what's your truth? If I ask you about your life, is there something that you consider this is my truth? No matter what, this thing will not change for me. What's your truth?
I don't know. I think it could change based on circumstances.
Okay, so find something, all of you, find something that you consider your truth. Like for me, my truth as an educator is no matter who the student is, what his or her background or race or religion or nationality, as long as the student comes into my class, I am her teacher, I am his teacher. That's my truth. That means I don't look at you and say, oh, you're not from my background, I cannot understand you, or you speak in a particular funny way. My truth as an educator is anybody who enters my classroom, whether that person likes to be in my classroom or not, wants to learn from me or not, my truth is I am her teacher or his teacher as long as she is in my company, he is in my company. That's my truth as an educator. So what's your truth? That must be something that you say, no matter what, I will not dispute with this truth. What's your truth?
Being realistic and survive.
Being realistic and survive.
And survivor. Yeah.
You're a survivor. That's your truth. No matter what, I'm going to survive. In my mind, I will survive this no matter what, because that's who I am. Anything? Who else has a truth that you say, look, you know what? This is my truth.
I think for me is that I'm a mother, and no matter what, I have 2 kids who depend on me.
So that comes first and foremost for you.
Yeah.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
Responsible.
That's your sense of responsibility and your rootedness. So your sense of identity, your sense of purpose, your sense of mission in life, if you like, is rooted in that truth. Anybody else? Jen?
I guess it's just how I interact with people. If you talk to me, I mean, you treat me as how you want me to treat you. Then, if you are friends with me, I'll be friends with you. If you don't want to be friends with
Yes.
me, I'm okay.
Correct.
Right.
I'm
Right.
just chill. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so if we look at that statement again, it is a truth universally acknowledged. Like, which part of the world has this truth been given, and people have acknowledged that. That very statement, that hyperbolic nature of that statement. When we use hyperbole, when you speak to young people, it's like, my God, my life is gonna end. I'm stuck at home. I'm gonna die. It's like, God, you're not gonna die. You know, we use hyperboles like that. So what the use of the device, the hyperbolic nature of the language already tells you, it kind of like gives you a clue. All right, she's not being realistic here, or she's not being altogether truthful. She's being cheeky. She's being tongue in cheek. She's being ironic. Just by that opening phrase, okay? So that also sets the tone for the rest of the story. So you know what kind of story you're gonna get. This is not a tragic prose. Okay, no one's gonna die. This is very much a romantic comedy. As a genre, this is very much a romantic comedy. It's a comedy of errors, perhaps. But it's that's the kind of genre of prose writing. So you already start to think about that. Um, so what is this truth? We're getting closer to the theme of the story, if you like. Even in the opening sentence, right? A single man, if he has good fortune, he must want a wife. I mean, after all, what else does a single man need? If not fortune, he must also want a wife. Okay, that in itself already indicates to you the kind of society this story is constructed around. Okay, so the man, first of all, must have fortune, and then following that, he must want to marry. So, not must want a woman, but must want a wife. So that marital status already is indicated in this line. Are you following me so far?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I'm unpacking the first line is because I love the opening lines of all these great literatures, because they do so much. And the opening line, in fact, tells you a lot more than we sometimes give it credit for. We sometimes read it and just skip through it and then just go straight into it. But she spent a good amount of time constructing that opening line for a purpose. And you notice it's a paragraph in itself. It's given a kind of like a space for itself, right? And only when the next paragraph, it goes, however, little known the feelings or views of such a man may be of his first entering, then you get into, okay, maybe the man doesn't really want that, but the truth universally known is something that indicates, this is what this story is going to be about. That there is this man with good fortune, and he must want a wife. Okay? So that's the opening of this story. Now, what I want you to do is have a look at chapter 1. If you've got your book with you, I'm using my iPad. My daughter's got the book with her. She's reading. She's got a class later. They're also studying Pride and Prejudice. Um, so if you can just browse through chapter 1, just chapter 1, do the same thing and scan chapter 1 and tell me if there is any particular sentence or line or imagery that stands out for you. It doesn't matter what it is, just chapter 1. Just scan through it, and I'm going to do a minute. Do that for a minute.
Okay.
Just chapter 1. All right. Who wants to go first? So the question task is for you to pick up any line in chapter 1 that kind of stands out for you. Jennifer?
Yeah, I'll go first. It's the last page for chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's been Mr. Bennet's conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You'll mistake me, my dear. I have a high respect for your nerves. You are my old friends. I have heard you mention them with consideration these 20 years at least.
Mm.
Yeah. This like comes to me because I did watch the movie first
Which
before
version? Which version?
reading. Sorry.
Which version?
Uh, the latest version with Keira Knightley.
Okay.
2005.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I watched that movie first before I was introduced to the book. So when I look at this sentence, it always correlates, like remind me the movie and like the book together.
Mm. I
So
like the 1940s Laurence Olivier version
oh,
because
that one.
black and white one because the humor in that is just wicked. You know, it's yeah. So
Ah,
if you can find that one, because
okay,
I
okay.
watched that for work for class some time ago. So yeah, that was really really good. Yeah, but what about this line? What was it that caught your attention?
It feels like the first sentence where the sarcasm is just so there,
Right,
but Mrs.
Yes.
Bennet just ignores it, or she doesn't care. But
hmm
Mr. Bennet is actually really he's smart,
right.
but he
What
just slip in his sarcasm here and there just
right
to humor himself.
right?
Yeah, so
What
that.
kind of smart is he? Is he a scholar smart? What kind of a smart man is he?
I think
Just
I
from
got.
that lesson you have quoted, what kind of smart is he?
I feel like it's like street smart because I only know like that's you are a book smart or you're a street smart. So I think he is street smart.
Right. So the word you're looking for is witty. He's very he's when we talk about comedy, there's high comedy and low comedy. Okay, the genre of comedy. So when you look at the genre of high comedy requires a good use of wit, the bantering, the use of language. A lot of English comedy
Mm-hmm.
revolves around wit, the use of high comedy that requires for you to understand the language so well that you chuckle just listening to the conversation, right? So the low end of the comedy will be the slapstick black humor when somebody hits somebody in the head, somebody slips off the banana peel, you know. So this
Yes.
kind of a comedy, the genre
Ah,
is very much one that revolves around wit, the use of
yes, like
jokes and language and creating a kind of humor, not a humor in your mind, because you enjoy the witty criticism and comments that is being thrown here and there. Okay, so that opening statement plus this one already indicates the genre. Anybody else wants to pitch in? Like, what's a line that stood out for you?
Well,
Okay, Huda?
he is driving mad because of his wife.
No, which line stood out for you? Is it the same line?
I like this line.
Which
This
one?
line, yes.
The same
That
one.
Jennifer, yes, the Jennifer said that.
Hmm, hmm,
Yes.
hmm.
Um,
But you felt that he is being driven mad by her?
yes, by her. Yes.
Which imagery indicates that?
As a whole, doctor, I see
Right.
that as if he is driving away from his family.
Oh yeah?
Yes. When there is this conversation between him and his wife, he just tried to say some words, then he drove away from her. So he will not lose his temper.
Ah,
That's what I
so,
think.
so he uses his language, his conversation to kind of detach himself from her, from the wife.
Yes, just simple sentence or sentences,
Right.
and simple words. Then he drove away from her.
I kind of get what you're trying to say, but I'm not sure whether driving away or drove her away is the right expression. You know,
Okay.
the sense that I'm getting from you is what you're saying is how he puts her in her place. You know,
Yes,
he
yes. Uh-huh.
perhaps he's annoyed with her, but instead of saying, "Oh, woman, you're being silly. Can't you
Yes,
make some sense? Can you talk to me with some sense?" Instead of saying all that and losing his temper with her,
yes.
he
Just,
he made
just he go away from her.
right without her getting
Please.
offended because she
Yes.
doesn't get offended by him because she doesn't even know what he's trying to do. So that
No.
is also another use of humor. All right. Humor sometimes is used like a court jester, the clown in the court, in the palace. The clown does a lot of different things for the court, for the king and the people of the court, during the times. Yeah. So the court jester sometimes create these kinds of humor as a reflection for people to observe how foolish they are. That's another element of humor,
Yes,
right?
because yes,
So
because
sometimes
he is very witty, but she's very silly.
she's very straight. She's very simple in her mind. She doesn't have a very complicated way of looking at things, you know. And so whatever he says, it seems too high for her. It seems the weight is too high for her.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Somebody else. Ali has muted himself. So, Ranjini, do you want to pick up on a line that
Yes.
stood out for you?
I would say the last line of chapter 1. The
Yeah.
busyness of her life was to get her daughters married. Its solace was visiting a news. Find this a bit amusing, but at the same time quite sad, I guess, because the whole purpose of her life is to get the daughters married. That's about it.
That's it. Yes.
Right. Now, let's contextualize that sentence a little bit so that we see how serious this is for her. The very word business. So the story started, the chapter started with truth, okay, and the chapter ends with business, okay. So
Yes.
if I ask you back the same question, what's the business of your life? Like the business of my life is to educate, no matter what, be it my family members, my parents, my nieces and nephews, or my students, or my colleagues. The business of my life, if I had to carry a profession to my grave, that would be to educate. That's the business of my life, right? So what's
As
the
for Miss Bennett, you mean Mrs. Bennett?
no, for you? I'm asking you now.
Ah, for you, for me.
What's the business of your life? So this is something that engages you with society. When you think about the business of your life, right? Business requires some kind of a transaction. You give something, in your paid something. So what's the business of your life?
Okay. As for family, I have to take care. I have many responsibilities. I want to engage you in this situation. And as as career, I just like to translate as much as I can from books. I can,
Okay.
especially poems. And Doctor, I've told you about my book.
Yeah.
And the book of my two professors.
Right.
Yes.
So Huda, for you, if I can, the calling for you. So instead of the word business, maybe you want to substitute with the calling. What's your calling in life? For Huda is to translate words to make it more available for people who don't speak the original language of the text. So that's who does quote unquote business or calling, if you like. Shahira, what's yours?
I think right now, as I don't have any commitments, I think
Mm,
my main responsibility is to be studying, and
right,
like whatever I learn in class, at the end of the semester we have to basically produce
right,
and like produce back our understanding.
right.
So
So
for me,
once you're done with the task for the assignment for the
mhm,
semester, you're done. You move on, right?
yeah,
So it's not long term. It's kind of like temporary. It's short term. You can manage it, correct?
mm-mm, yep,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like short periods of time. I'm gonna just get this done, and when I'm done, I move on to the next thing, and then the next thing. So I'm not tied down to anything that kind of like defines me,
yes.
right?
At this moment, there's nothing like to tie me long term yet.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Right. Right. Ranjini,
For me, I'm
you haven't
what's
got
my business?
you haven't figured one yet.
Yeah, I would say I didn't really figure one yet. I'm still.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
doctor.
because I think the reason if you can tell from my
Mm-hmm.
style of approaching the reading of this book, I'm very much using reader response. I'm
Mm-mm.
very much getting you individually, the six of us here, getting each one of us to respond to the text based on our horizon of expectation, based on our perception of life, our station in life, our roles, responsibilities, expectations of life, and we find ourselves reflected in that story. So that's my approach to reading a fiction. Even if you're reading dystopian fictions, you can still use that same technique, right? So if you feel like, you know what, I have very short-term goals. You know what, I don't even have one yet. I haven't even figured one out yet. That's okay. But the reason I'm getting you to think in those lines is because if you can tap into the same sensibility in yourself, then you can tap into the sensibility of that character. No matter how foolish she sounds, you can
Yeah.
still empathize with her. Until you can empathize with her, she is a flat character for you. She's a two-dimensional character for you. But the minute you can empathize with any of the characters in the stories that you're reading, suddenly the characters become more real to you. Their
Mm-hmm.
wants, their needs, their business, their calling, their truth becomes more real to you. Not because you are going through it, but you can almost imagine yourself being in that situation. As a reader, that's the thing we need to do. Until we do that, the story is just a few words in a page. Do you
Mm.
understand? Does anybody wanna put in their business or their calling? Is there one? Okay, Jennifer. We have it. Ali is back. We'll do Jennifer, and then after that is Ali.
Told
Uh,
you this. I hear you from the beginning. If you hear me,
okay, okay, brilliant, brilliant. Jennifer, what's your calling? I know you're very young. You know, Huda has crowned you as the princess. So there you go. Yeah, what's your calling, if you like? What's your quote unquote business as a 25, is it 25, 26 year old?
Yeah, 25. Um,
You've lived quarter of a century, Jennifer, that's a long time. So
but I'm not sure, doctor. Like, because right now, short term, like Shahira, I'm just trying to graduate,
hmm,
take one step at a time.
right,
But I do have something long term in
right,
mind. It
right.
sounds very weird, but maybe I just want to, age gracefully as much as I can.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm, Yeah, I want to age gracefully too.
Yeah. It's either that or I don't mind being the bitter old grandma that you see. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
can't imagine you like that.
yeah. So either one. But yeah, like that. I guess. I guess. Yeah.
Right, right. So your business is to see yourself in a state where you have lived a full life, basically,
Yeah.
right? That you can see yourself having lived a full life. I mean, you've jumped the motherhood straight into grandmotherhood. You know, that says that's why I can't skip a stage. Okay, you gotta go through the whole. Okay, I get what you're saying though. I understand what you're saying. So we are still focused on us as an individual. We are focused on the I, on the person that we are, right? Ali, do you wanna pinch in, and what's your calling? What's your purpose in life, if you like? Is there one? Have you developed one?
Actually, Victor, before I start
Oh.
Hello? Hello?
you hear me, Victor?
Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah.
So what's
Uh,
your calling?
I just were there in my country with my friends there, just trying to help poor people in Foundation for Human Rights.
Good.
And also, there are many families that missed their father, their dad,
Right.
and
Right.
they need the one who be beside them.
Right.
So I was one of the members of this foundation with my
Right.
friends.
MashaAllah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So
but yeah,
your calling, your purpose is driven by your environment, by
yeah,
what the society needs, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So if you all have a piece of paper, do you have your notebooks or paper with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can draw a small circle in the middle of the page, just draw a small circle. You see, this is why this was, yeah, never mind. If you can draw a small circle, and in that small circle, put the letter I.
Okay.
Can you do that? But afterwards, I want you to share it on the WhatsApp. I want you to share your drawings on WhatsApp. So, draw carefully. Make sure the circle looks like a circle. I'm just kidding. So put the letter I in the middle.
All right.
Then around that small circle, draw a slightly medium-sized circle. Okay.
Another one?
Another medium circle. Then around the second circle, draw another circle. So you've got 3 circles, one
Yes.
on top of the other.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first circle is the I. Okay. Now as you move further and further away from the I, so you can draw an arrow moving from I outwards.
Yes.
Okay, so when you are focusing on the I, it's very much at the micro level. Okay, now
I'll write Anna in English, in Arabic.
in
So,
Arabic,
yes.
it's not a
So
literature
I can
class.
reflect with it.
Yes. This is not a literature class. This is just a book club. A couple of people hanging out, maybe with coffee, with whatever else you're drinking. So the small circle is at the micro level. That's the I. That's the person. That's the individual.
Yes.
Now, as you draw more and more circles around, you move further and further and further afield. The larger circle is your engagement with society, maybe your family, maybe your community.
Yes.
Maybe you've got religious or institution that you're affiliated to, a temple or a mosque or a church or a non-governmental
NGO. Yes, NGO.
NGOs.
Yes.
So your calling can be based on the I, but it can also be based on something bigger than you.
Yes.
All right. So I want you to think about right now for the bigger circle. I want you to just brainstorm around that big circle, the third circle. Just brainstorm some institutions that you are affiliated to outside your family. It could be a school, it could be a church, it could be a mosque, it could be a temple. That means you're part of something bigger than yourself and your family. You know, it could be an institution. For instance, okay, Jennifer, Ranjini, and Huda, you all have a job, a full-time job, correct?
Yep.
No.
Oh, Huda doesn't. Okay. Shahira, are you working anywhere?
No.
Cambridge. Sorry. Okay, no.
Jennifer is working at Cambridge. Ranjini is working at Smart Reader, correct?
I can read.
I can read.
Yeah, yeah.
I can read. Shahira, are you working anywhere?
Nope.
Okay.
Full-time student.
Ali, are you working anywhere?
Yes, he is.
He is.
Yes.
So if you are working somewhere, put the name of your school or the university or the college or the institution. Put that as part of the outer circle, the bigger circle.
Okay.
Okay. And if you are a member of your church, your mosque, your surau, your temple, your neighborhood watch, whatever, put it down also for the outer circle, the bigger circle. Okay, Ken?
Okay.
All right. The middle circle would be the kind of chores or responsibilities you have in your immediate family.
Okay.
Okay. I'm supposed to have supervision with my supervisee. Asked her if she wanted to have it in the morning, and she said, Dr. Rai, can we have it in the afternoon because I've got stuff to do in the house. I've got chores to do in the house. So, it could be helping with the preparation for lunch. It could be doing the laundry. It could be, vacuuming the house, cleaning the house, whatever, folding the clothes. So the middle circle will be things that you are responsible
Yes.
for your immediate family. Maybe you are in charge of washing the dishes every night for you. You know, maybe you're in charge of taking out the garbage every night. Whatever your job is, if you like, right? That's another word for business, job. Okay, whatever your job is for the family, in your family, maybe you're in charge of going out to buy grocery. The current lockdown, you have been nominated to, you're the sole individual to go out and buy bread, buy food, and come back and scrub yourself and hope that you don't get inflicted by the COVID-19, something like that. So in my family, it's either my husband or I take turn to kind of go out, whatever we need for the first, for 3-4 days, we'll just get it and we'll come back. So what is your job in your immediate family? Put that for your second circle.
All right.
So you can, if the circle is too tight, draw a line from the second circle and list down all the things that you are in charge of for your immediate family. So I've just shared the picture of what the circles will look like on our WhatsApp. Okay, you've got two circles there. The inner circle, the blue line is the I. The green circle, the outer circle, that's the family line. And the pink circle, the third one, is the society. So each category, I want you to think about things that you are responsible for. Like I, you're responsible to for your assignment. You know, like Shahira was saying that she's got these short-term goals that she needs to get through her assignment, submit her assignment, graduate. Right? Well, for Jennifer, to see herself grow gracefully, right? To see herself as this grandmother who nags the grandkids like nobody's business. Like, can you finish your
Oh,
pick up after yourself? And then they'll come and they'll give her big hugs and they'll say, "Oh, Granny, stop whining. It's not
oh,
you. It doesn't become you to be whiny and all that. That's not who you are." And then she will laugh. So whatever your priorities are for yourself, for your family, for your society, I want you to put that down.
all right.
Okay, done?
Okay.
All right. Now, let's go back to chapter 1. Okay, let's
All
go
right.
to chapter 1. So we have established that number 1, Mr. Bennet is witty, is intelligent. He's got a very cool personality. And we have established that Mrs. Bennet, right? What word would you use to describe Mrs. Bennet?
Responsibility toward her daughters. Responsible for her daughters. To secure their future.
Okay.
But in silly way.
But in
And
a
very
silly-
exaggerating.
in a very exaggerated manner.
Yes.
Yes, very
Exaggerate.
She's a bit comical too, don't you think?
comical character. She comes across very comical, right?
Amusing.
Amusing. So she is the comic relief of this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So if there's one character in a story that that plays the role of the clown of the class,
Yes.
That's her.
she is it. But did she choose to be the clown of the class, you think?
No.
No.
No. Chances are she doesn't even realize she's being a clown. She thinks she's doing something serious. Okay? Okay? Yeah. I want you
Yes.
to kind of like choose character in this chapter. You can choose Mr. Bennet, you can choose Mrs. Bennet, whoever you feel you like this character. It could be Lizzie, whoever you want to choose, based on chapter 1 only.
Only. All right.
So based on chapter 1.
Only chapter 1. So just spend a minute. So we're looking at like 4 pages, 3 pages. My copy, my version, it's 3.5 pages for chapter 1. Yours is how many pages?
8 pages.
3.
3 pages, 2 pages. So between 2 and 3.5 pages, choose one character. And based on that one character, do the 3 circles for them. Okay? So for instance, if I chose Mr. Bennet, the inner circle, the I go through chapter 1 and I ask myself, what are the things he does for himself? As in this chapter, what are the things he does for himself that the narrator tells us? Maybe he will see
We just
paper.
choose one character from chapter 1
Sorry?
We have to choose one character from chapter one and to mention for what she or he did in chapter one.
Yeah. And do it in that diagram that I shared on WhatsApp, the 3 circle. So
Yes.
instead of putting I, in the middle, instead of putting I, if you chose Lizzie, then you will put Lizzie in the middle. You understand?
No, not yet.
No? Okay, just let me draw my masterpiece and share it with you.
Please.
So I will choose, this is my favorite character.
God. I keep losing it.
Okay, I just shared my drawing of one of my favorite characters from this from Jane Austen's writing, and that is Elizabeth Bennet. So I would read chapter 1. If it was me, I would read chapter 1 and find all instances in which Lizzie seems to be focusing on herself. That would be in the middle circle. And then the outer circle would be all the things that she has to do for her family. That the inner circle, the second circle. Then all the things that she has to do for her society. That will be the outer circle. Do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you find me any information for any one of your characters that tells you more about the character and what he does for himself or what she does for herself?
But we are only doing chapter 1, right?
Only chapter 1. That's right.
All right.
So which means you can't get much,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? You can't get much. But even in chapter 1, even in those, Shahira, yours is 2 pages. Even in those 2 pages, there are things that you are already given.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
Okay, tell me which character that you chose. So, okay, tell me how many characters are there in chapter 1, in this dialogue in chapter 1?
There's only 2. It's Mr. and Mrs. Bennet.
Mr. and Mrs. Bennet. So obviously you can't choose other characters because there's only 2 characters now,
Yeah.
right? So between the 2 of them, which one would you choose?
Mr. Bennet.
I should choose Mrs. Bennet.
Mrs. Bennet. So
Yeah.
Shahira says Mrs. Bennet. Ranjini says Mr. Bennet. Okay, so let's just try this out. Let's just try this out. Imagine you chose Mrs. Bennet and you put Mrs. Bennet in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that this chapter tells you that she needs to do for herself, or that she does for herself?
Mm, for herself.
Do you give the are you given the impression that she's busy doing her hair all day, she's busy plucking her eyebrows, shaping her eyebrows, fixing her hair, busy choosing clothes that she wants to wear? Did you get that sense of who she is?
Um, no, I think her life goal is to get her daughters married off to wealthy men.
So between the three circles, where is she positioning her kind of like day-to-day, purpose in life?
I feel like she's more in the
With the
her primary circle, and her second circle is very much correlated with each other.
Right. So her preoccupation is about her daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Her preoccupation seems to be about her daughters. If Is there anything else that we get in terms of her preoccupation? Does she know what's going on in society?
She does actually, because in the first page,
Right.
my dear Mr. Bennet, said his lady to him one day, have you heard that Netherfield Park is let at last? And then Mr. Bennet replied that he had not. But it is, returned she, for Mrs. Long has just been here and she told me all about it. So she has the inside scoop, the gossip of the estate.
Mhm.
So her link to society is there. She doesn't stay in the house and kind of like get cut off from society. So her,
Mm,
her connection to society is, you're right, through her other friends like Mrs. Long, anyone that kind of like comes into her space, they're
mm,
part of her outer circle. They're not part of her family, they're part of the society. And the kind of conversation that they get from these other people, you're right, it sounds a bit gossipy, doesn't it? It doesn't come across as the most important news that the society needs to know, but it's important news for her. But is it important news for her as a person?
mm.
Just to be relieved from the burden of her daughters.
Okay, so Huda is very cynical about Mrs. Bennet, unfortunately. Her burden from you over Huda. It's going to be a difficult task for me, but if you've got five daughters, can you imagine what that's like?
I mean, I
Sorry?
have 4 sisters, so
Sorry,
I have 4 sisters, so
you have four sisters.
we're almost there.
So who carries the responsibility of ensuring that they are taken care of
Mm,
in your family?
I guess it falls on both parents because both parents are working.
Right. But what I'm trying to get you all to see is, albeit Mrs. Bennet comes across comical, a bit silly, a bit ill-witted, she's not very intelligent, but she takes her job very seriously. She takes her quote
Yes.
unquote business in life very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that business? What is that calling? What is that job?
Getting her daughters
Get
married.
her daughters married off.
Right.
Secure the future of her daughters.
That's a better way of saying it. Securing the future of her daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Not to get rid of them and say, I don't care for you. Because there is a scene in this chapter that gives you an indication she really cares for her daughters. She doesn't
Yes.
she
Yes.
doesn't think they are nuisance at all.
All right.
Can you
Even
find
Celia,
that scene?
Yes. Single man of large fortune, four or
About
5,000 a
What a
year.
fine thing for our girls.
where? Which line?
Oh,
Um,
sorry.
it's supposed to be on the first page, I think,
Okay.
about uh
Read us the line, Shahira.
Oh, single, my dear, to be sure, a single man of large fortune, 4 or 5 thousand a year.
4 or 5,000. Yes.
What a fine thing for our girls.
What a fine thing for our girls. That's one. Something else closer to the end of the story.
Is it? I mean, for me, it's the second page. Is how she talked to Mr. Bennett. But consider your daughters. Only think what an establishment it will be for one of them.
Right. So not what an establishment it would be for us,
But for our daughters.
for one of them. Right? Another and give me another indication. There's something else.
For me,
When,
when
yeah, go on then.
is it me? Okay. For me, when Lydia got married, right, she was quite
No,
sad.
jumping the gun, jumping the gun. Chapter 1.
Oh, chapter 1.
We are only in chapter 1.
Oh, I thought the whole.
Just chapter 1, because I want you to see, I want you to kind of like draw a character, a different character in Mrs. Bennet than what we see literally positioned in the story. You know, I want you to kind of like get into her silly mind.
Okay.
Give me another indication where her children are important to her. When Mr. Bennet says they have none of them much to recommend them, they are all silly and ignorant like other girls. What does she say?
How can you abuse your children in such a way?
Mr. Bennet, how can you abuse your own children in such a way? Right? So she comes to their defense, even when they're not there, you know, and the father is like, they're all silly girls, you know. And she doesn't say, yeah, you're right, you know, unfortunately for us, we've got 5 silly girls and we need to marry them off, don't we? She doesn't say that. What does she say? She defends them. So how can you abuse them in that way? You know, how can you even call them silly? You know, she takes offense on their behalf. All right. So the reason I'm kind of like making you kind of like focus on Mrs. Bennet's character a little bit for this first book club discussion is because number one, I want you to understand that there are layers to a person's character and the way the story is unfolded. When you read reviews about Pride and Prejudice online, Mrs. Bennet doesn't come high at all.
No.
At all. She comes across very much what we have established, you know, silly, dim-witted, you know, comedy, comic relief for the family, for the husband especially. Right?
Yes.
But I want you to kind of like infer more from the things that she does and specifically not for herself. You know, she doesn't get excited and all that when somebody rich and wealthy comes into town, comes into their village for herself. It's more about what prospect this brings for our girls. All right. So all these things that we have discussed in chapter 1, this is what we will call exposition. These are aspects of this narrative that exposes us to the characters. Okay, so the rest of the story, as we're reading more and more and more about this particular character or about this story, you get a lot more is being revealed to you. Okay, so what I want you to do for the next few days.
Okay.
Let's meet again next week if you are free. Maybe Monday if you're free. You know, let me know. Monday or Tuesday. I want you to kind of like take the same line of discussion, and I want you to read the chapters using the same kind of a mindset. Bear in mind, you're not comparing it with any other text. This is just you reading this one text, going deeper into the character, into the way the character is being described, into the kind of genre that this is, which is comedy, and I want you to kind of pursue that line, and at the same time, look at the activities that I shared on the wooclap.com/write1. The kind of questions, the kind of things I'm asking you to focus on. So I want you to really read this story from that point of view.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm asking you to do?
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah. So this is a very micro level, close textual reading. This is what you're doing right now. So when you do practical criticism, right now you're doing literary theory. You will be doing. Are you doing this semester or next semester? Theory.
Last semester.
Okay, so next semester, Huda and Ali and Jennifer will do theory.
Yeah.
But before you kind of go into the theory part of studying literature, the first thing you do is practical criticism, PC for short. So practical criticism is one of the skills that you need is close textual reading. You don't tell the story in a summary. When somebody says, "What's the story about?" You don't just summarize like, "Okay, it's a story of this man, and he's from a high society, upper class, and there's this girl, and he's from middle class." And at first they didn't like each other, then after that they liked each other, and then they fell in love and they got married. I mean, that's a simple summary of it. But when we do practical criticism, when we do this kind of very close textual reading, you get to know the characters in a very close, intimate way. And when the characters become more real to you, many more things can unravel itself for you. So that's the beauty of a good story.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions?
Uh,
No, thank
so
you.
far, okay.
So far, okay.
So good. Yes.
Okay. So I'm not doing a master's class comparative literature with you using Pride and Prejudice, but I'm just doing a basic, book club reading of Pride and Prejudice. Is that okay?
Of
Yes,
course,
doctor.
doctor. Thank you.
So for our next book club, so basically that's the end of our first book club. I just want to have like a 1 hour session, because I know everyone's got their commitments. Netflix is waiting and all that.
Dr. Shantini.
Yeah. Oh, you have class with Dr. Shan later?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not today. Not today.
All right, okay.
On Monday. Yes.
All right,
Catholic.
Okay. So but what I want you to do is to kind of like do one more thing for me for next week. Inshallah, if we meet next week,
Yes.
I want you to pick your favorite passage from this entire. Maybe you have a favorite passage. I've got one from chapter 4, I think chapter 4 or chapter 5. I've got one of my favorite passage from this book. And I want you to kind of like be selective, like really ask yourself, why is this passage? Why do I like this passage? It could be a short paragraph, it could be a page, it could be the entire chapter even. But I want you to pick your favorite passage, so you get to kind of like conduct a session with us next week. You read the passage and you tell us, what is it about the passage that you like? Is it something about the character? Is it something about the story? Is it this just the language itself that kind of like makes you feel really engaged? Whatever. So do you understand the task I'm asking you to do?
Yes,
Yeah.
doctor. Yes.
So what's the task for next week?
Fine.
One favorite passage.
Our favorite character from chapter 1.
That will be the first task, which is choose a character and then do the circle. But for next week, I want you to do something else. What is it?
To pick our favorite passage, sentences, whatever.
Right. From the
Then-
entire
From the entire chapters.
Another one.
And then we mention the reason why we choose this passage or something like that.
So I will give each of you time next week to conduct this session. So you will get us to read the same passage. You will go through it with us. You will kind of tell us the favorite bits, why you like it. We'll do a book club session next week, where everyone takes turn to kind of go through their favorite bits about this novel.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it can be many different excerpts about one character, for instance. It could be, basically, what's your favorite bits about this novel?
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a list, and if you want to kind of go through the list with us, we each can get as much or as little time as we want.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, it's all right.
So what day do you all want to meet up? Because does you all have class on Monday?
We have it with Dr. Shantini.
Yeah.
It's Monday, the Boxing Day.
So I'm fine with Tuesday.
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 What time? I have an iPad class from 9:30 to 11 every day until the 14th on Zoom. So after 11, I'm cool. But it all depends on you.
Could it be on Friday, please? Because
Yeah.
I have this presentation on Monday.
What about
Yeah.
Tuesday?
I prefer Friday also.
Tuesday about 2 o'clock because you have the class is still 11, right?
Tuesday 11, I can't do 2.
No, 11? Because
Yeah,
I'm
11 fine.
because I sit at the desk until my time, and then I go and take a break. So
Tuesday, it will be immediately after, Monday, and I have a presentation. So I will not be able to prepare what you have told us, Doctor. If I may ask.
When you say presentation, do you mean assignment? You're actually doing an assignment?
No, it's just
Just me, because I was so late in everything in my life.
No. That is the truth universally unknown. That we are always doing everything in our life. So I'm okay with whatever you all decide. If you chose Friday, it's fine. If you want to do it Thursday, it's fine. But I'm at my desk from 9 until around 12:30 or so, and then I go and fix my lunch, and then 2 o'clock I'm back at my desk. So
Yes.
I'm working like that Monday to Friday. That's my strategy to cope.
Yes.
So I have not seen any Netflix so far. So I'm being a good girl. But I'm on YouTube and Facebook 24/7. So
All of us. Good girl. Yes, I am good girl, but fat.
So I
Fat
work
one.
out. I do 2 minutes every morning, 7:30 to 8. So
I see.
that's if I don't, then I feel guilty for eating. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
if you prefer Friday, that's okay. So I will see you all Friday at 11.
Alright.
Inshallah.
Okay.
So in the meantime, share the drawings of your circle about you on WhatsApp. The first drawing that I said, draw 3 circles. The middle circle is I, the outer circle is family, and the third circle is society. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can you just take a quick picture and share it on our WhatsApp?
all right.
Okay. So
Doctor,
yes.
I have a question. It's not related to the book club, but for the class.
Yeah.
For our assignment, is it still the same due date?
No, because semester has been the calendar for this semester has been changed. Week 7. Sorry, week 7 starts on the 27th of April, and semester will end end of June. So we're not losing any semester time, except that semester has been brought forward. Forward. It's been taken to April until June.
Okay, so when we come back on the 27th, that'll be our week 7.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
alright.
27,
Yeah.
week 7.
Yeah. Uh, 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 you would have had mid-semester break. That's plus the 1 month from the summer vacation. Usually July, August, you have time out
Yeah.
for 1 month. So that 1 month is brought forward now. This unfortunate situation that we're in. But your dates and everything that will change for sure. And
Alright.
I'm slowly migrating all your assignments and your tasks to UKM Folio. So maybe next week or the week after, I will tell you a little bit more about that. I know Shahira has already uploaded a couple of tasks on Google Classroom,
So
but
just
Yeah,
the
I was
first part,
on
right?
standby. Yeah.
yeah, but I will get, Shahira, you will need to kind of like re-upload it on UKM Folio, but that's for later. Don't worry too much about it.
Oh, so if we have any questions like for assignment 2, we can still ask?
Absolutely. I don't
Okay.
want to, like, because we are told not to force you to have any classes because some people don't have the technology at home. So we will put them at a disadvantage if we make learning online compulsory. But with the six of you, except for Fuzla, that's the thing that I'm a bit concerned with. With a lot of you, because you're online and you're available, and I don't mind giving you this extra kind of like coaching, but it's nothing to do with our course parameters in comparative literature. It's more about getting to the heart of the text that you are reading. And
Okay.
once you have the practical criticism skill, you can read other stories using the same tool set.
Okay.
Yeah, do you understand? So, but if any of you, if you're proactive, I highly recommend you be proactive. If you want to start preparing for assignments 2 and 3, and you want to talk to me about it, I'm more than happy to have supervision consultation. In fact, I would highly recommend that, but it's not compulsory.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you've got ideas, you want to bounce ideas off with me, we can have a discussion online. Like I said, I'm at my desk from 9 till usually around 4:30. I take lunch break and prayer break, but other than that, you can Monday to Friday. I'm at my desk and my connection is there, so you can just message me and say, Dr. Rai, can I meet you? Yeah, no problem.
Alright, okay.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Doctor.
Problem.
Okay.
So keep well. Enjoy your. This is unprecedented, everybody. I know this sounds. I know Huda is feeling really kind of like cut off from her family, but this is something that has never ever happened in this in the planet history. Even during World War I, World War II, parts of the world were affected, but not
And it's
every.
influenza.
But this time around, we are.
It's the whole world.
Yes, the entire planet is experiencing the same thing
Yes.
at different levels, but the entire planet is experiencing the.
Suffering. Yes.
Yeah, but there
No
is
way.
opportunity. There is an opportunity for us to kind of rise above it and ride this wave and kind of come out stronger. And these simple things that we are doing together might actually be towards that end. I don't know. It could be, it could not. I don't know. But let's do whatever it takes to kind of like strategize this as an opportunity for growth, not to suffer.
Yes. Like that. Like that.
Okay, inshallah.
Yes.
All
Thank you.
right. So thank you so much for making
Thank
time.
you, doctor. Thank you. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
doctor.
So inshallah, I will see you next Friday around 11.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay, sure.
doctor. Bye.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Sure.
Bye.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Doctor.
Bye.